All right, welcome back to episode 30. I don't remember because it feels like ages.
43.
43?
43.
We're in the 40s?
I think so, yeah. Because Flash was
No.
42, I think. Because that was the Jackie Robinson one.
No.
Yeah, I think it's 43.
Oh,
Because
shit.
we remember the whole Jackie Robinson conversation.
Oh, yeah. Wow, I thought we were in the 30s or something like that.
Right.
Gotcha. Well, Isaac, how's your week been?
It's been good, Nils. Fourth of July happened. And after we needed that mental health break after the Flash, it's been good. Got into a good place. Good place. How about you, Nils? How have the last 2 weeks been?
Last so. Um, Good. I had a eventful. Yeah, not. I don't know. I used to the past couple Fourth of Julys. I do nothing. I just kind of sit around. It's always my laziest days. But then I had that one I celebrated with a wildfire, so that was a good time.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I don't know. Yeah, I got a job started. So is everything it's been a nice little 2 weeks. So Isaac, did you catch any of the celebrity softball game?
I didn't know. I was gonna watch the Futures game, but then I thought about it and I was like, I don't really care enough.
Yeah, you missed the Futures game was so bad. That was
Yeah.
awful. I think it was like 7-0, 5-0.
Jesus Christ.
So but yeah, the celebrity softball game, Zach Levine and JoJo Siwa hit a home run. I think
Really?
JoJo. I know Zach Levine easily. That one I for sure know.
That's really funny.
But yeah, I didn't realize. I've seen like highlights. I think of those celebrity games. I didn't realize how baby mode they make it for
Yeah.
them.
Well, I
Where
mean, they're
it's
celebrities. They don't play baseball.
But it's really funny because there'll be celebrities and then it's like Felix Hernandez and you're like, what the hell? But yeah. So it was an interesting time. So excited to work the home run derby.
Yeah.
I don't really know. I've only like seen bits of it on TV, so I don't really know exactly what it's all about. But I'm assuming they just hit a lot of home runs.
Yeah, I've heard that it's actually just like miserable to watch in person because it's just dinger after dinger for like 45 minutes or however long it lasts.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Well, the funny thing is like they want us there. They want us there at 12. And then it ideally goes to 10 p.m. But it's like, dude, if it's just a home run derby, I don't think there's any other events that day. Like,
Right.
what else is gonna happen? Because there's still a lot of downtime and it was 2 events. So we'll see. We'll see. But no, yeah. I don't know. Isaac, is there besides the movie we watched, is there any good like TV, movies, music, video games even consuming the past 2 weeks?
I finally finished The Sopranos.
Oh,
And then other
really?
than that, yeah, and then other than that, I've been just playing Final Fantasy 16. I think I'm about to beat it. I have like one more mission, I think.
Oh,
So that's exciting. But
what?
otherwise,
Yeah. Shit. Wait. You okay? Oh, I didn't know that. Hold on. Let's gonna ask a question. Dang. Are you planning on like beating that Final Fantasy now, or is that um you wait? Is it today's the day to beat it?
yeah, probably. I have some stuff to do today, but after, yeah, I'd say so.
Okay. Shit. Is it better or worse than 15?
I would say the story is worse, but I would say the gameplay is better. Like I don't know. I feel like Final Fantasy 15 has like a special place in my heart just because it's literally just like a road trip where you get to go like fight a bunch of shit, which is really cool. And I think that Final Fantasy 16 is a much more like traditional I guess narrative or I guess game because it's like open level. It feels like Jedi like Fallen Order or something. Or whatever the game's called. I still gotta
Yeah.
play that shit.
It was free on PlayStation Plus on the PlayStation.
Oh no, the second one, I mean.
Yeah.
The newer one.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It feel like obviously the main difference is like Final Fantasy 15 is more of I guess like a modern setting. Like, there's cars and this one's like pure like high fantasy stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's the only difference. So well, not the only difference, but that's the main difference. But yeah, pretty good.
Well, okay,
Pretty
so
good.
the bigger question then is this going to be a game that you replay 5 times, or is this just
No,
a
no,
beat it
this is
once?
a one and done. Yeah, because I mean
Oh,
like, yeah. And I think that the main difference, because I was thinking about this the other day, I was like, yeah, this is like dragging out like really long because like I'm doing all the side missions and I'm doing all the hunts and all that stuff. And it's like, yeah, this is dragging out really long, and it's because like I just think that like whoever was their like side quest designer just didn't care about their job, because there's like maybe 2 or 3 like narrative based side quests, and there's not really any. All the side quests are go kill a monster here, and then that's it. They just don't really get creative. And to be fair, there's not too much to get creative about. But like there's not even like you have to track down this monster. It tells you exactly where it is, and it's just like very one dimensional.
okay.
So definitely just a one and done, but interesting story, I would say. Although I have issues with the plot, but that's nitpicky.
And then are you glad that you finally, what made you, I'm surprised that you actually went back and finished Sopranos. Seems like that was a done deal that you're like, I'm probably not going to finish it.
Yeah, I mean, I was, I'd made it all the way up to season 6, part 1, and I was just, doing nothing all summer, so I was like, I guess I can just finish The Sopranos. So I did. Honestly, not a big fan of the ending.
Wow, that's crazy. Why not? Why not?
I don't know. It just seemed to really like chill, you know?
Yeah, that's what makes it so good.
Yeah, but that's like not that's the whole point. It's like that's like the whole game of like the whole issue with Game of Thrones that people were like is they really like it was reaching a climax and they butchered the climax, right? Which is really bad thing to do. But then The Sopranos, there just wasn't one.
Oh, there was one. Oh yeah. Oh, dude.
Well, there was one, but it wasn't like a real one.
Oh, because it's like it's also just it's a perfect like eclipse to the mafia in like the early 2000s of it just like dying away slowly. So it feels real like that whole 6th season is just kind of like a nice slow. I mean, I get why it might not be for you, but or at least for me, I think it's a very fitting and grim way of how the story would end, because like even from the start, the whole purpose of The Sopranos isn't even that it's like a typical mafia story. It's about like the mafia in the 90s where they're slowly it's become a system that has much less like elegance to it, than it did when they always like talk back with the golden days. I don't know, and then it's just like with the FBI now, and then it's like they don't even, I don't know, because yeah, you can see in like the color palette, because like the 6th season looks fucking ugly in terms of like the colors. I don't know.
I'm still mad they spoiler alert for The Sopranos. I'm still just mad they killed off Christopher, the best character.
But he was like dude was asking to die for like multiple seasons. Ever since, because like he routinely, the thing with Christopher is that he was routinely showing how he was like wanting to get out of the game, like he was being stupid about, but then he wouldn't ever fully commit to it. And so then it's like you're constantly pushing Tony's sense of restraint.
I'm just saying Tony could have totally been like, yeah, I'm not gonna like help you right now, when he was asking for help, and then instead of killing him, just been like, yeah, you have to deal with your consequences.
Yeah, I don't know,
because I feel like a lot of like I know he went to rehab, and obviously the whole Adriana thing is like a big bummer, but like I mean, like most of the time he was being bailed out by other people, which I think probably hurt a lot. But
yeah, no,
that's cool.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like my favorite ending ever, but I do think I do like it.
Good.
Isaac. Okay, well then, big question: do you think he just lives Tony just lives his life, or do you think he got shot?
No, he definitely got shot.
And
Like
then
right in the back of the head too.
and who do you think orchestrated him getting shot?
That's a good question. Oh God, what's
Because
that
there's a
Italian
couple
guy's name?
theories as to, and I like one of them the most.
The guy who orchestrated the hit on his brother, I would assume. Not his brother-in-law, sorry.
The
I'm not gonna lie. I watched all 6 seasons and I didn't bother remembering anyone's name besides Christopher, Polly, Tony.
I mean, yeah, I when I watched the show, it was freshman year of college, so it's been a minute. I think I do know what you're talking about though. Of there's because there's
he's got like the glasses.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's yeah, one. I still like to think it was Polly. I think that's the funniest one of the
That's
bunch.
a funny one. That's a really that'd
and
be
it kind of
really
makes
sad,
sense.
though. That'd be really sad.
Because like routinely Polly was showing how he wanted to switch sides, and then okay, even if you don't like the final shot where it's like it's him in front of the deli or whatever, or the meat shop, and it's just him, and it's like this very, I don't know, like the sidewalk looks depressing.
Yeah,
but I don't know. And then Isaac, do you think Adriana is the cat? That's the other big theory. No, or do you think it's Christopher? That's the other big one.
I don't know. I don't know, man. Sopranos is weird because it's not a show you expect to get all philosophical, and then when Tony's in a coma, it gets there, and it's like, holy shit,
dude! When Tony has like, I think it's when he's in the coma. No, maybe it isn't. It's that, or it's like a dream, and then there's the woman on the top of the stairs, and it's like a silhouette of a woman, and it looks so fucking creepy.
I think that's a dream. Yeah, that's not the
coma. Yeah, that's the
because the coma was when he was with his like cousin, and his cousin was like, "Yeah, your friends and family are waiting inside, but you can't go in yet." And then he wakes up.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, because that's the one thing I really, and then I love, especially when it gets to the later seasons, is like there's definitely there is some form of spirituality that's always hinted throughout the show, but it's not overdone. And
because it's also sorry.
No. Yeah.
No. I just got too excited.
Well, no, it's just like you have this is the Mary in the strip club with Paulie showing up, or just and then there's like people in mirrors sometimes, or then like the cat acting like funky, or the dreams. I love that, even though it's a gritty, although it's like humor in it, mafia show. There's a lot of cool instances of spirituality that I think add a little dimension to the show that I don't think anyone you really ever expect in that.
Yeah. No, I think that's a good take.
All right, Isaac, I feel like we've babbled for a while. Probably should get to the meat of the crop, that a movie that I think we watched 2 weeks ago.
I watched it again last night.
Oh, okay. Thank God. All right.
I've watched this movie like 3 times in the last
Holy fuck. Okay, because wow, I'm impressed. Because I was like, this is gonna be a rough Stickscast.
Oh yeah.
Well, no, if like both of us hadn't seen it for 2 weeks, you know what I mean? So yeah, today we're gonna be talking about Isaac, you brought it up, or you I'll let you read the synopsis and introduce the movie to us, please.
Okay. So for Stickscast episode 43, instead of doing the Jackie Robinson movie, we decided to do a Solaris, which is a 1971 Tarkovsky film. For those of you who don't know, Tarkovsky was a Soviet era. Sorry, I'm also watching Mario Kart. Soviet era filmmaker and director. So it's based off like a novel that was made in, I think, 1961. Essentially, I'm not going to read the synopsis off, but essentially the synopsis is there's they're all Russian, so I honestly would butcher their name, but basically there's a psychologist who's sent over to a space station orbiting a planet called Solaris, where there's been a bunch of really weird shit happening. And then it's a very, I don't want to like go into details and spoil, because that's what we're going to do in about 5 minutes. But
Mhm.
essentially it's just a lot of weird shit happening on a space station. But yeah, so Nils, what did you think? Because this is your second Tarkovsky film, because we watched Mirror, although we never made a
Yeah, I
Stickscast
never
on
made a
it.
Stickscast.
So and he's definitely like a very different director in terms of a lot of things. But
Hmm.
like I know that like for you, the first thing you notice is like how you really have to pay attention, like, for every second of the movie, or else you're just gonna get lost, especially because it's all in Russian.
Yeah, I was
Uh,
gonna say, yeah.
so I guess what are your? I mean, I know your general thoughts, but give us a little
Yeah.
more, I guess, in
Well,
depth.
and I want to add, there's an extra layer of difficulty
Mm-hmm.
when watching these because with some foreign films or like anime, right? I can
Mm-hmm.
easily watch stuff in subtitles, but there's
Yeah.
a lot, and I'm not saying there isn't stuff visually going on in Tarkovsky movies,
Mm-hmm.
but a lot of times you can sometimes like get away with not necessarily, reading like you don't need to read 24/7 in a lot of the foreign films, right? Like
Right.
you can kind of these movies. It's there are a few like novels. Like you gotta like really read it, or you're just so lost. And especially these movies. So, because yeah, that's what happened with me with Mirror. Is I remember I was like kind of got bored, and
Yeah.
then I started to look away, and then I was just lost throughout the rest of that movie so hard.
Mm-hmm.
This one, I think I made a really good college effort of staying paying attention. Um, yeah, I think I did a sizable effort. And sorry, you just was the original question just like what were my thoughts on the movie or what was it?
Yeah. I
Sorry.
mean, go into as much as you want.
Yeah. All right.
Or
I think.
I guess more so. Sorry, I guess more so just Tarkovsky's directorial presence, if that makes sense.
Ooh,
Because
it's
I know that
directorial.
that's. I mean, that's the main difference between his films and all the other stuff. It's just that like, the way Tarkovsky directs is pretty different compared to what a lot of what we see nowadays.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Well, you know what? Let's make a fun game, Isaac. Let's make 3 words. We both have to make 3 words that describe his style. And yours are going to be more valuable because how many movies have you seen of his?
I think I've seen 3 now. Yeah,
Okay,
because
and
I've
I've
seen
seen.
Mirror, Nostalgia. You should watch Nostalgia. It's the same. Like you're gonna like be bored out of your mind, but it's a
Mhm.
really good film.
Okay, so and I've only seen 2. So
Okay.
for me, if I had to pick 3 words that would describe it, oh fuck, that's a 2 word word. Um,
If it has a hyphen, it counts as one.
no, no, I'll try. I know I'm gonna stick to my word here. I'll do this. Hypnotic. Uh, Sleepy. Demanding. I think those are
Mhm.
the 3 words I'm gonna go with. That.
Okay.
And to elaborate on those 3 words there, um, I will say this: when I watched Solaris, so no, I'm not. I'll talk about that later. Um, when I finished the movie, it definitely put me in a trance. I don't know what it
Mhm.
is. So, and a lot of times, I really like a film if it made me actually. Oh, Aaliyah's on Overwatch. I see.
Whatever.
Isaac and I were really enjoying the Mario Kart.
I unlocked 2 cups.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
Did you unlock Daisy?
No.
Oh,
I unlocked the starting special cup. You're welcome.
thank you. Okay. Uh, Okay. So I always respect a movie if it makes me feel something, especially like a really weird feeling.
Mhm.
I think the last movie that really made me feel something really weird, like a good example is like After Sun,
Yeah.
where you're not necessarily on the edge of your seat. Although I think sometimes you are watching After Sun, but when you finish it, it just makes you kind of turns your stomach up in a little knot, and you just kind of feel off. Or that, or it's like
Mhm.
Hereditary.
Right.
I don't know about this movie making me feel that off for that long a time, but when I finish it, I definitely felt something. So I always will applaud a movie for that. And then the sleepy, that'll kind of get more my negative part. But actually, oh well, you know what? I said my 3 words. I want you to say your 3, then describe, elaborate on one, and then I'll go, just so it's not just me talking for a gajillion, mix it up.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say, so my first one, I would say philosophical,
Okay.
and then non-linear, and then I would say patient probably.
Mm.
I'll just go in order.
Mhm.
Talking about, Tarkovsky, from the three films that I have seen, he's very like philosophical in nature.
Mhm.
Because for most of these movies, if not all of them, he co-wrote them. And when talking about Solaris specifically, I mean, obviously you have the whole philosophy of, what is reality, first of all, and then, what is real, which is it's a little different, but it's still,
Yeah.
different enough. And, throughout the other two films that I've seen, Mirror, and Nostalgia, I would say that, like, there's definitely a very specific philosophy in each of his films that I've seen that, using either musical or visual language, it really like promotes, whatever ideology he's, I guess, promoting. So that's really interesting to see. But in this one, it's more so straightforward. It's less abstract, I would say. And I think that the two main ones are what's real and then what is reality. So yeah.
Okay. That's interesting. Yeah, in terms of would you mind kind of pressing into that difference if you wanted, if at least what
Yeah,
do you
sure.
think the movie is suggesting the difference is?
Right. So I mean, spoilers, if you have, it's over 50 years old, so like it's your fault. I don't know why you would click on this, but basically, so what is real is obviously talking about his former wife who died. Who then, made of neutrinos, comes back as like an embodiment of the planet Solaris, right? Solaris, I don't know which one it is. I think it's Solaris. But and then at very end of the movie, choosing what is reality, which is where he I guess there's a few interpretations that I've seen about what the ending of the movie meant. But for the most part, most people think that he decided to stay on Solaris, and kind of like accept that reality, because obviously you have the parallels of his relationship with his father early in the movie, and they're very emotionally distant. And obviously at the end of the movie, he goes back and he's just there, and he kind of like breaks down, right? So there's been
Can you remind me? Sorry, it's been forever.
Mhm.
Wait, what was the ending of the movie yet? Like,
Yeah, so the ending of the movie was essentially they destroyed his former wife because they gave her like an existential crisis.
Yeah.
And they tried like the Annihilator on her, which is a really funny name for, I mean, I guess it does what it's named to do, but I just think it's a funny name.
Mm.
But so once they destroyed her, before that, they beamed oh, what's the main character's name? Whatever. They beamed his like brainwaves into the planet's ocean. And then it just stopped sending like the visitors.
Yep.
And then they eventually, through like a bunch of things, they saw that the ocean was starting to form islands. And then yada 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 yada. The end of the movie is he goes back home and he's like with his dad, and they're having this emotional like reconnection, I guess. But then it zooms out and it's just one of the islands.
Oh yeah. Okay, all right. Makes sense. Okay.
So yeah, there's a few different interpretations for the ending. Some people say that he went down to the island, like after maybe like his father died when he was gone or something, or maybe he just went down to the island right after, or maybe yada yada yada, because he finally got that connection with his wife that he never really had. But I mean, pretty open. It's weird because normally I bash on like the open-ended endings, especially for sci-fi films, especially for horror films. Like if you remember The Void.
Oh yeah, that was.
I completely bashed on that because I was like, this is the stupidest shit ever. But in this case, I think it works really well because it very much so plays to the whole, I guess, philosophical ideology that Tarkovsky was questioning in the film, which is, what is real versus what is reality. Sorry, this is a really long-winded way of saying the what is real part refers to his relationship with his wife, when he was on the space station, because obviously that's not his wife, it's his memory of her. And then what is reality, which is when he's at the end of the film, when he's seemingly choosing to live in what is reality or to live on Solaris with his memories of reality. So hopefully that answers your question.
I think it did.
Good.
Yeah. Okay. It's kind of coming. I at least remember it ending with him back on the island.
Right.
Yeah. Awesome. Sick. Yeah, I don't have anything. I don't have anything to add on. That was a good little. And that's the result of me not seeing this movie in 2 weeks. And then you seeing it last night, but that's good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So the second one I said was kind of sleepy. So I think, and this kind of then starts to play in the demanding one. I think what makes this movie at least tricky for me is there's a lot of, at least for me, a lot of brain power that I feel like goes into paying attention to this.
Oh yeah.
Although when you describe, I feel like describing the movie, it doesn't sound as hard to follow, but and it really isn't necessarily plot wise. Like I think stuff kind of goes through. It's just a long, but I've noticed with this, and then I think what I remember from Mirror is a lot of actors kind of have all the actors have very low energy. And so I think just for me, like it's intentional. It's not.
Yeah.
It's a style. But for me, that's really hard to like follow through when it's a like if it's a movie about like self-reflection and philosophy. If you have really, stark thoughts like that to have throughout the film, then also the actor, especially like the protagonist, where they're very like low spoken and it's a foreign language. I think for me that's what made it really hard to get through it. Which I just like, yeah, I don't know. Even like I guess the side characters have a bit more energy. I forgot their names. But yeah, it's very sleepy with just how people talk, but then also just like move around, and there's just shots that linger. But I don't know, the shots. Yeah, I just, for me, I just don't know if that is necessarily for me.
Yeah.
I don't know. Would you agree on that, or is that something that you liked about the movie? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, going into I did say patience. I think that like this is, and obviously you've seen Mirror. I've seen one more film than you, so we have a pretty similar sample size. But like that's generally speaking like the standard for Tarkovsky films. Like it's very, I wouldn't necessarily say calm because a few of his movies aren't, but like it's very drawn out and it's very patient, and that's because in a lot of his films, like for example, if you want to look at nostalgia, isolation is a huge theme in the film. And so you have these really long winding shots that are really far out from the character, and you just see them, and it's completely silent. They're alone for so long. And that's very much so a standard, or I guess a trademark of Tarkovsky films. You have to, and there's a lot of factors why, but the main factor as to why you have to pay constant attention, and because if you don't, you'll get lost, is because it's all very drawn out, and it's all very meant to kind of promote this feeling of isolation, or I guess yeah, I would say isolation is probably the best word. I wouldn't say it's a great word, but I would say it's the best word. But it's very much on theme. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So. Okay. Yeah. No. It's like, because I know I'm in the minority on these movies, so it maybe it's something it just does not click with my head necessarily. But okay, Isaac, what was your second word that you had?
Yeah. I said nonlinear. And again, that's very much so a trademark in a lot of Tarkovsky films. It's done in a few different ways depending on the film. For example, in Mirror, it was mainly flashbacks. In Nostalgia, and in this one, I think it's dreams. Although you can make an argument that his wife kind of brought that nonlinear aspect, and then obviously at the end, But like it, because it, you know, allowed him to revisit his relationship with his dead wife of 10 years and then his father. But it's again just another trademark of Tarkovsky, and it's very like, I don't know why. Like normally I really hate nonlinear stories. I just don't think that a lot of people do it right, and I don't think a lot of stories have the ability to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I would rather have a lack of information than knowing everything about a story if it means that you know, it isn't not it's a linear story.
Mm.
To an extent, of course. But I think that, oh God, what was I saying? For some reason, I think that Tarkovsky, the way, just I don't know why, but just the way that Tarkovsky designs, you know, his like, you know, the plot structures, it just works really well for me. You know, obviously in Mirror, it's very overt, like it's very clear. But you know, like, and I hate referencing other movies that we're not talking about, but like in Nostalgia, for example, it's a dream sequence about I mean, Jesus is there. There's a mentally ill guy. It's a lot.
Wow.
But it's just a very creative way of. Actually, sorry, let me scrap that, because I actually know what I want to say now. Sorry, it was all a big roundabout way of saying that the way that Tarkovsky does it is he uses non-linear sequences in order to explain the thinking of the characters. That it can include dream sequences, that can include flashbacks, but you know, normally other films, they use it for context, for the plot, you know, like,
Yeah.
oh, this person is doing this because this person did that, but in this it's very much so a psychological I guess display. So that I think that's why I really like it.
Okay, I see. That's cool. Yeah, with it, the nonlinear focusing just on one person.
Mhm.
Which, yeah, that's kind of a rare thing for a movie to do a lot of times.
Mhm.
That oh, okay. I like the way you put that. And then yeah, I think third in terms of demanding, at least for what I said, it kind of plays into the second. But just to add more to it, I don't know. Actually, I'm gonna scrap that word.
Okay.
I think instead I have to try and place a word on it. But okay, I don't have a word. Okay, so we just broke the game, but whatever. But it is very interesting how it'll go from long scenes of just like, you know, people, you know, just watching people, and then there will be
Mhm.
like sequence. At least in this movie, there's sequences of you're watching like inanimate imagery.
Yeah.
Which I don't know, it's really I did love, even though it's the very beginning movie. I do love the beginning with the ferns in the
Mhm.
water, kind of going through.
Yeah.
I think that's super pretty.
Mhm.
I want to just see a video of that. But and then even the watching the ocean on Solaris. Wait, Solaris is the station or is that the planet?
Solaris is the planet. Yeah.
Okay, but yeah, like the way that that's captured is very weird
Yeah.
and really creepy. Did you get a sense of when you would I kind of forgot the sound and music he puts behind those shots, but what were like the feelings you got watching just like the shots of like pure ocean, you
Mhm.
know?
So that's another really cool thing that you brought up about Tarkovsky, in my opinion. Tarkovsky really never, like, very rarely, except for when it's absolutely necessary for like the visual and musical language to connect, uses music. Like it's not a very Western perspective, I think. And to be fair, I have no idea what the Eastern perspective is. But it's definitely not Western.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of Tarkovsky films, there is music, but it's only at very specific points. For example, you don't have sprawling, like, you know, fields with like some uh
No, yeah,
Western
no.
music going on. It's very quiet, and I think that adds to kind of the atmosphere of isolation. Talking about the scenes that you're talking about when they're looking over the ocean, it very much so keeps the same theme. Like it's kind of eerie, because I think that it's very clear early on in the film that like something isn't right, right?
Mm-hmm.
And even when you don't know completely, like they do, like the moment he gets on the station, the scientists do explain the ocean as like a brain, right? And that's why they've been shooting radiation into it, and et cetera, et cetera. So when you're looking at this ocean, obviously to us, an ocean is an ocean. Like it's just water. But in this case, we very much so know that while it might look familiar, it very much so is different. And I think that the kind of that eerie and silent atmosphere kind of added to that.
Yeah, that's really cool. Okay, Isaac, my computer is about to die. So
Okay.
do you want to say your final piece, and then I think we can do like scores?
Sure. I've talked a lot, Nils. I think I'm all good.
Oh, wait, my charger was there. Okay. Well,
Hey,
there we
can
go.
keep it going.
Yeah.
I've ran out of things to say, honestly. So if you want to say like a final piece, we can
all right.
move right along.
That sounds
Although
good.
I will say, I think that the aesthetic of like the retrofuturism, but like, you know, Soviet archetype, I think that that's such a cool aesthetic, and I really wish that it was explored more.
Okay. Yeah, I think I would like that. For this movie, I was like, okay, it's kind of neat, but I didn't really want to look at 2 hours and 45 minutes of it.
Right.
So I was like, okay. But I'd love to see more of that done. You know, I'd be excited to see that.
Right.
But yeah, so my final piece on this is, I think, how should I put it? Okay. If what we said sounds really interesting to you, well, I don't know people that are listening to this, and then you know, like, oh, should I see the movie? Let's pretend like you're debating on seeing the movie. Or if a friend, you're recommending this to a friend, right? Or you know, it's gonna be a movie night. You're gonna put this movie on. I wouldn't say put this movie on for a movie night. At least that's for me. Just because it's really long. I honestly think this might be a better movie to watch by yourself, maybe, because then you're not going to get as distracted. Turn off your phone, whatever you do, don't have your phone near you, because if you miss some stuff, it's gonna be rough. But yeah, oh, there's a crow. My gosh. Okay, yeah. So if you like the ideas, then yeah, watch it. If you don't, and you're not a big like, if long movies are already kind of like hard for you to watch, don't watch it. Yeah, I think you at least gotta. Oh, okay, this is it. Finally, I finally have a good, you know, big little New York Times final, you know, critique, final paragraph. I would recommend watching a Tarkovsky movie. This is probably a good one to watch, I think. I don't know, Isaac, what your recommendation if someone would watch only one. But watch one. If you like it, or if you're like Isaac and you like it, then you'll probably really like this movie. If you don't watch another one. I think it's a good experience to have, right? I think you gotta, you know, if you like film, you always gotta branch out, try new things. But this isn't gonna change any minds of people like me who didn't really like one they had seen before. So that is my experience. I kind of forgot what I gave it. This is kind of one of those where review scores are dumb because like I don't really I think I gave it like a 2 or 2.5.
Okay.
Where it's like, I don't know, if you're like Isaac, why do you care about my score when it's just like it's just a movie not for me? But if I have to reflect honestly of my experience watching this movie, then I'm gonna have to give it like a 2 or 2.5. So
okay.
All right, Isaac, to you.
Yeah. You know, I would like to mention, you know, as someone like with ADHD, it's very difficult to watch Tchaikovsky films because they're so drawn out. And like Nils said, you can't have your phone. I would agree with what you said. I think that like as a movie night, it's a bad idea. Mainly because, you know, at least for the movie nights I have with my friends, it's like, you know, you talk, you chop it up, you drink, you know, you're eating food, you're talk. It's mainly a social event, right? So you're supposed to be socializing, and obviously, if you're talking during the film, you're not going to understand any of it. So definitely watch it alone. And the good thing about that is it also adds to like the Tarkovsky atmosphere of kind of a loneliness, or isolation, like I said earlier. So that's really cool. That being said, long movie, not good for movie nights. that being said, thinking back on kind of how I felt when I was watching this, um, I you've seen like, I mean, I'm sure you've seen the meme at least, but you've seen the It's Always Sunny episode when Mac comes out to his dad and Frank is like, it's
Yeah.
beautiful. That's exactly how I felt when I was watching it.
Okay.
I don't know, because I'm a big sci-fi fan, obviously. And just if you're having like a psychological based sci-fi film, I think, and it gets like all existential. I just love that, and I think it was executed really well. I love the set design. I love the costumes, except for the pants he was wearing during his first day, but that's a different story.
Oh yeah.
Um,
I didn't like that shirt he was wearing either.
You didn't like the yellow shirt?
No. The yellow shirt was fine. It's
Okay.
like the undershirt he wears. It's like a very Easter. I think it's like a European thing. It's the white shirt that has like the little holes in it.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
I hate
got blasted in. Yeah.
I hate that shirt. I get uncomfortable seeing men wear it.
Okay. I'll wear that for the next one.
Take.
Okay.
Oh gosh.
I'll also have all the holes in it too.
Yeah.
But Nils, you're gonna think I'm absolutely batshit crazy, which is fair because let's be honest, I probably am. But I had it at a 4.5. Amazing movie in my opinion, but after watching it last night, I bumped it up to a 5.
Oh my
it's
God.
getting the stamp of approval.
Jeez.
It's just like it's just the most like it's perfect. It's just perfect. And I think that a lot of that comes from like the philosophical nature of revisiting like past relationships, and obviously like if you've ever had an existential I think this is a movie for people who have had like existential crises, but it's just perfect. But yeah, so it got a 5 from me. I think this is like our biggest difference.
This might be. Yeah, I'm in the minority. A lot of at least the Letterboxd community loves this film.
Yeah.
To
be fair, the Letterboxd community is the Letterboxd community.
Yeah. So I get it. But I just gotta be honest. This is like I can't. But I'm glad. I did it. That's my reviews. It's like a hike. Maybe that's it.
Yeah.
It's like a hike on a rainy day. That's what this movie is.
Nils, I will say I'm gonna assume that you're never gonna watch another Tarkovsky film just because you don't click with the style. If you ever want to though, I would watch Nostalgia. Very good movie.
If I watch another one, I need at least a year. To do another.
You have plenty of time. It came out in 1983.
I need to watch it before everyone stops talking about it. Yeah. No.
Right.
All right. Well, Isaac, I think that is it. Do you have any final thoughts on this movie? Or just final things you want to say, not on the movie.
Nils, how do you feel about the Washington State ferry electrification?
Oh God! Should we just end it there? Yeah. I do not. Washington State. That's perfect.
Just end it with like a picture of Pete Buttigieg on the ferry.
Yeah. Oh man. What's funny, Isaac, is I did a quick half-ass research. And on that one, I don't think it's a bad idea. I think it's a good idea. I'm not mad.
Yeah, I mean, why not?
Yeah. But on the West Dot's like website for the main policy, they're like, the Washington State Ferry Agency commits the most greenhouse emissions of any state agency in Washington State.
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit. So yeah.
No, it's definitely good. And also like if you think about like the economic impacts, like electricity is so much cheaper than like, whatever fuel they're using.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's like, I don't know what type of fuel they use, but like electricity is just so much cheaper.
Yeah.
If you're talking about like knots per dollar, but like I don't think they're going to lower ferry ticket prices, but at the same time, like I think, obviously ocean acidification is like a big deal. So I mean,
yeah,
I'm not saying that this is going to change ocean acidification, but I'm in favor,
Yeah. So, We'll see. But I'm more concerned of them being on fucking time instead and having that's what I care about. So whatever.
Yeah. No, actually, I was thinking about it. I think that like it really sucks because like if I was still in high school, I think like the perfect summer job would be to be a ferry worker. I feel like that would be really because you just get to travel up to like all the northern islands.
Yeah, that's true.
All the time. So
that's a good idea. I should look into that next year. So,
yeah. But so yeah.
All right. See you, Isaac. Have a good one.